Hello everyone, welcome to today's lecture on usage of phrasal verb. Language is not merely a collection of words and grammatical rules, it is a living tool of communication. To communicate effectively in English, we must understand how native speakers actually use the language in their daily lives. One important feature of natural English is the usage of phrasal verbs. You may have heard expressions such as give up, carry on, look after, find out, and turn on. These are examples of phrasal verbs. They are widely used in conversations, movies, television programs, interviews, newspaper, and social media. In today's session, we will learn what phrasal verbs are, why they are important, and how we can use them accurately and confidently in both spoken and written English. Let us begin our journey into a fascinating world of phrasal verb. Before we proceed, let us look at two pairs of sentences. The first sentence says, I'll continue my work. The second sentence says, I'll carry on my work. Now consider another sentence. Please enter the room. Please come in. Both sentences in each pair convey the same meaning. However, the second sentence sounds more natural and conversational. This is because English speakers often prefer phrasal verbs in everyday communication. While single word verbs are common in formal writing and academic contexts, phrasal verbs dominate informal and spoken English. Therefore, if you wish to sound more fluent and natural while speaking English, learning phrasal verbs is essential. Now, let us understand what exactly a phrasal verb is. A phrasal verb is a combination of a verb and one more particle, such as an adverb or a preposition. When these words combine, they create a new meaning that is often different from the meaning of the original verb. For example, the verb take generally means to receive or carry something. However, when we add a particle of we get take off, which can mean to remove or to leave the ground, especially when referring to an airplane. Similarly, look after means to take care of someone. Put up with means to tolerate something. Thus, phrasal verbs should always be learned as complete expression because their meaning cannot always be guessed from the individual words. Let us examine the word look. Normally, look means to direct your eyes towards something. However, when combined with different particles, it means changes completely. Look after means to take care of someone. Look for means to search for something. Look up means to search for information. Look into means to investigate. This demonstrates an important characteristics of phrasal verb. A single verb can combine with different particles to produce several entirely different meaning. Therefore, memorizing individual verb is not enough. We must learn how these verbs function in combination. You may wonder why phrasal verbs are so important. There are several reasons. First, they are used consistently in everyday communication. Second, they make our speech sound natural and fluent. Third, they help us understand movies, interviews, podcasts, and conversation more effectively. Fourth, they enrich our vocabulary and improve our communication skill. Imagine speaking English using only formal vocabulary. Your language may be grammatically correct, but it might sound stiff or unnatural. By incorporating phrasal verbs into your speech, you can express yourself more confidently and naturally. That is why phrasal verbs are considered an indispensable part of English language learning. Interestingly, many phrasal verbs are already part of our daily lives. Consider the following example. Wake up means to stop sleeping. Get up means to leave your bed. Put up means to wear clothes. Turn off means to switch off something. Get out means to leave your home. Come back means to return. Think about your daily routine. From the moment you wake up until you go to bed, you are surrounded by situations where phrasal verbs are used naturally. The more you recognize these expressions, the easier it becomes to use them confidently. Let us look at a simple example of daily routine. I wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning. Then I get up from bed. After getting ready, I put on my clothes and go out for a walk. Later, I come back home and begin my daily activities. Notice how many phrasal verbs appear in the short paragraph. Without phrasal verbs, the sentence should sound more formal and less natural. This example demonstrates the phrasal verbs are not rare or difficult expression. They are an integral part of our daily English. As students, there are certain phrasal verbs that you should know. Hand in means to submit an assignment. Carry on means to continue. Find out means to discover information. Go through means to examine carefully. Catch up means to reach the same level as after falling behind. For example, please hand in your assignment before Friday. I need to catch up on my studies before the examination. These expressions are frequently used in academic environment, making them particularly useful for students. Phrasal verbs are not limited to casual conversation. They are also commonly used in workplace. For example, call off means to cancel. Set up means to arrange or establish. Take over means to assume control. Deal with means to handle a situation. Follow up means to continue communication or action. Consider these examples. The meeting was called off due to bad weather. The company set up a new branch office. Understanding these expressions can improve your professional communication skills and prepare you for future development. Phrasal verbs can be classified into two categories, separable and inseparable. In inseparable phrasal verbs, the object can be placed between the verb and the particle. For example, turn off the light, turn the light off. Both sentences are correct. In inseparable phrasal verb, the object may come after the complete phrasal verb. For example, look after the child. We cannot say look the child after. Understanding this distinction help us use phrasal verb accurately and avoid common grammatical errors. Now, let us explore some highly common phrasal verbs. Give up means to quit. Bring up means to mention a topic. Pick up means to collect or learn. Run into means to meet unexpectedly. Workout means to solve a problem. Example, I gave up smoking last year. She brought up an interesting point during the discussion. I ran into my old friend at the market. These expressions appear frequently in daily conversation. Therefore, mastering them can greatly improve your fluency. Many learners makes mistake when using phrasal verb. For example, she looked at the baby after is a incorrect one. She looked after the baby is the correct. Another example, I put tomorrow off the meeting is incorrect. I put off the meeting until tomorrow is the correct one. The key is to learn the complete expression and observe how native speaker use it in correct. Practice and exposure will gradually help you overcome these mistakes. Let us compare some one word verbs with their phrasal verb equivalent. Continue becomes carry on. Discover becomes find out. Enter becomes come in. Return becomes come back. Postpone becomes put off. One word verbs are often preferred in academic and formal writing. Phrasal verbs are generally preferred in spoken and informal communication. A component English speakers should be able to use both form appropriately depending on the situation. Now, let us discuss the most important rule for learning phrasal verb. Do not memorize long list without context. Instead, learn phrasal verb through stories, conversations, newspaper articles, films, and real life situation. Keep a notebook and write down new phrasal verbs whenever you encounter them. Create your own sentences, use them in daily conversation. Remember, language learning happens through meaningful use, not through note memorization. The more you encounter phrasal verbs in authentic context, the more natural you will use them. Let us summarize today's lesson. A phrasal verb is a combination of a verb and one or more particle that create a new meaning. Phrasal verbs are an essential feature of English communication. They make speech more natural, fluent, and expressive. They are commonly used in daily life, academic situation, and professional environment. The best way to master phrasal verb is through continuous exposure, practice, and application. As English learner, you should strive to incorporate phrasal verbs into your everyday conversation. Remember the simple thought: the more phrasal verb you learn, the more natural your English become. Thank you for your attention. Thank you, everyone.